Hey everyone, for any of you watching probably know I'm a massive fan of Darren Hayes and Savage Garden, and if you are too, then you probably would have known that yesterday Darren Hayes' new album dropped called Homosexual. Now it's been over a decade since Darren Hayes has released an album. I mean, his last album came out in 2011, and I guess a lot of our Darren Hayes fans have just been clinging onto that album for so long now, waiting for new material from him. And now it finally is out. I've listened to it a few times now, so I feel like I am ready to tell you my opinion of this long awaited album. So I really feel that this album was a long time coming because this is really an album really talking about Darren's identity himself, where I feel like he's been trying to conceal from the world for such a long time now because he's homosexual and he is basically expressing to the best he can just who he is and what he feels about life. And I think it's great. I think it is a fantastic album. I mean, I do have a few problems with it, but overall, I feel like this is a near perfect comeback album, and I think it has a lot to tell, and it has pretty much everything for everyone. So I'm going to go through a few songs, tell the things that I like about them, and I might add my criticisms at the end. But overall, to the best of my ability, I'm going to try and go. So the album starts off with a song called Let's Try Being in Love, which was actually released earlier this year, and I already liked this song the first time I heard it. It has this really nice, 80s inspired vibe, has this really nice synth work in it, and it's basically about Darren Hayes' relationship with his partner, basically. And it also had a really nice looking music video, and it was very well directed, and overall I liked it a lot. Do You Remember is basically a song about nostalgia, whether you remember it or not. He talks about the 90s in the song, and he talks about that there were no cell phones. I mean, that's what the song is, and overall has a catchy beat, a catchy tune. Overall pretty fun to listen to. Then there is Poison Blood, which is probably my favourite song on the entire album. Kind of like a song about like trying to live with yourself in these dark and horrible times, and like try not to pass your sin onto somebody else. And it also touches upon suicidality in it as well, which is pretty brave in my opinion. And so we get on to a two-parter song called Homosexual. So this song is split into two acts, one in the middle of the album, one almost at the very end. And it's basically just expressing truthfully about Darren Hayes' sexuality. And he also says that he believes that God is a woman. I mean, if there is a God, I would believe he has no gender because, stuff like that. And we get to, what else? We get to Euphoric Equation, which is basically just a song about battle between light and darkness. Then Nocturnal Animal is a song about somebody with insomnia, not wanting to fall asleep in the dark. And let's see, what else is there? There's also a song at the end called Birth about, I think it's just about people who are scared to give birth to a child, talking about like this pure thing growing inside this body of sin, and it's just kind of like the phobia of being a father. So I guess the meaning of this album is trying to break down phobias of all forms. Phobia of the homosexuality, phobia of sin, phobia of toxicity, phobia of being a father. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very progressive, and it's very original. So I really like it for that. I think the only one criticism I have is that technically, I feel maybe the sound production could have been a little bit better. It sounds a bit fuzzy at parts and a bit yeah, it just kind of has like this, a bit of this staticky, fuzzy sound to it. Could sound a bit more clear. But that's really like my only criticism with the album. I think the lyrical work of this album is basically genius. It's just as good as all of his previous albums and his stuff in Savage Garden, and I'm happy to see him release another album because it's felt like an eternity since we've gotten the last album out of him. So I'm happy that he has returned to music and he has returned to his passion after being burnt out for over a decade now. So overall, I would give this album an 8 out of 10. It is a really good comeback album from Darren Hayes. I'm really looking forward to seeing him in concert and seeing whatever else he has in store for us in the future. So yes, I highly recommend this album, that you listen to it. It's really good. And that is my review of Homosexual by Darren Hayes. I hope you have enjoyed what I've heard to say about it. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, take care. Thank you.